ChitChat Spotlight.
Hello there and welcome to Bangkok ChitChat Spotlight. Today we have Khun Poompong here with us, who's a lawyer at Bangkok Associates, Bangkok International Associates, and we're going to be discussing some things about the TM30. It's a topic which is very much in the forefront of the most foreigners' minds, and there's an awful lot of information out there. But what we thought would be good would be to discuss things from the point of view of a Thai lawyer, where they can actually read the law in Thai. As I said, there's a lot of misinformation, and what we're trying to do is basically take away a little bit of the smoke and mirrors, and try and define some of the different elements. So, Khun Poompong, welcome. And what I'd like to just introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm a lawyer who practice for litigation, mainly about like the matter in the courts, like go to the court, and immigration law is a part of my job also that I have to know to prepare for my case.
Okay, so maybe you could just give us a brief background on what this TM30 is.
TM30 is an application that you have to file to the Thai immigration to show that you stay in Thailand, but the problem is all foreigners know that you have to file within 24 hours. And this law is like established since 1979, so it's almost 40 years. It's 40 years now.
Right.
So that is the law that we have to inform to the officer. In this case is immigration officer immediately after you or any foreigner stay in Thailand within 24 hours.
So this doesn't just mean the person who's living, maybe they're renting a property. It isn't, the person who's renting the property doesn't need to do the reporting, it's the landlord of that property.
Yes.
And they have to report not just the people who are living in there, but say for example they have a visitor, their parents, I don't know, a friend staying there who is a foreigner, not Thai, but a foreigner. That person, they have to report for each individual person.
Yes.
Not a family. If my sister with her husband, daughter, whatever it is, they would have to report one form for each person.
Yes, you have to file the form, and like in the first page, you will tell about like who you are, I mean the landlord. And the second page, you will put the detail for the foreigners that you want to inform.
Right. And the landlord has to register the fact they're the property owner.
Yes.
So that process has to be done before they can make the report.
Yes.
So effectively, does that mean that any foreigner, the landlord has to do that? They shouldn't be leaving and coming back to that property until that's done, because otherwise they'll be late.
Yes.
So basically stay at home until the registration has been done, because otherwise the landlord is going to be fined.
Yes.
Okay. So why? As you said, this has been in place since 1979, and I know from some people that some people follow this up country, and have been for a long time. Mm-hmm. But in Bangkok, it's generally not been known about until the 25th of March when this was actually released. So why is the government enforcing this now?
Like, in the old day, because it happened for 40 years ago, like Thailand has not much like foreigners come to Thailand, right? And now the government concerned about terrorism or any situation can happen.
Terrorist, yeah.
Yes, it can be dangerous for the foreigners who travel to Thailand. So the the government want to know exactly who come into Thailand. That's why they want all of the foreigners or of any people who came to Thailand to report that why you come to Thailand and where do you stay. So we know exactly where you are, and we know exactly that what is your purpose. So that's why TM30.
So I think probably some of the confusion for some of us, and this is a law, and it's not me questioning you and giving your moral judgment. It's we have to do a 90-day report, which says where we are.
Yes.
Right. When we get a work permit,
yes,
or we get a visa, we have to register where we are.
Yes.
Why is that not enough? It's just the law.
Yes, like this, the law is standard for everyone, so they said that we follow that.
Right. Okay.
That's it.
So,
for this law,
but what has been the reaction from landlords? How do they feel about this?
they feel like it's too difficult for them to like for some people, for some foreigners, they stay in Thailand for temporarily, like 2 weeks, but
They're staying at a hotel, so it doesn't really matter, yeah?
Yes, the manager of the hotel have to report every single person who stay in that hotel. It's difficult. It's too much for them. Many our clients, like the manager foreigner, they complain us about like why it's too difficult, but we have no answer for them. It's just the law, so we only know how to follow that.
Okay, all right. So we've got a few questions. So one thing is, it states that you should be, if you leave your province, on a holiday, a long weekend or whatever. Obviously, maybe you're staying in a hotel, So you stay in a hotel, they report that, and then what happens is when you come back, your landlord's supposed to report that. Now that it clearly states if you leave your province. My question is, if you're not leaving your province, say for example, I'm going to a party at somebody else in Bangkok, and I live in Bangkok, and that's my province, and I go to, I don't know, Sukhumvit, and I stay over at my friend's house. Do I still have to report, even though it's within the province?
Normally, like if you move the location that you stay, but it's still in the same province, you have to report to the immigration for that.
Right, but if I'm staying at a friend's house overnight in Bangkok, do they have to report that?
If you interpret by the law strictly, you have to report for that. You have to report the immigration for that.
Right, so if I go to my next door neighbour and stay at my next door neighbour's house one night, they have to report that?
Like normally by the law say yes, you have to report, but if it's that not much, so it's okay, you don't have to report for that.
Right, but legally you're supposed to report.
Yes,
So
yes.
all right, so basically what we're saying is, if right, I live in Lad Prao, if I go to my friend's house in Sukhumvit and I'm not going to get a taxi home and I'm going to stay at his house, you legally should report that.
Yes.
But reality is that probably nobody's going to notice, so it doesn't really matter.
Yes.
But by law, you should. Okay, all right. What about the fines? What fines does a landlord face?
Yeah, for the landlord, like for individual person like me, not the hotel, it should be start with 800. Normally it will be 800 baht. And
Per
then-
day of lateness, yeah?
Yeah, per day, yes.
Is it per day?
Yes.
So if they don't report for 5 days, it's 5 times 800?
It's got maximum for 2,000. Like, okay, if you start per day, but truly like the length is about like 500 to 2,000. But normally the immigration officer, they will told that, okay, the fine is about 800. But if you are the manager of the hotel, the fine will be more than that. It can be about 2,000 to 5,000.
Okay, all right. And the effect, what is the effect if your landlord, here's a scenario. I've got a landlord, you say, could you please report me? They've registered online, they've done everything correctly,
Yes.
which takes time in itself, a lot of paperwork, and they forget. But you accepted that they have done it. And then you go to immigration, and you're going to extend your visa or renew your visa, what will happen?
Like if your landlord forgot to inform that, they will suspend you to renew the visa. But you are like, if you are a foreigner and the landlord forget that, and you know exactly that, he forgot it. So you can go to the immigration yourself and pay for the fine by yourself, and you tell what happened to you, like, okay, you stay in this house, but the landlord forgot to inform you, like, I'm so sorry. So you can tell the immigration officer to cover that fine, and then you can renew your visa after that if you fix the first problem about TM30s before.
Okay. Now, another example would be if this has happened a number of times, your landlord, they've said, you accept it's been done, you don't know whether it's done or not, because you haven't been given a receipt
Yes.
of it, yeah? The landlord gets that. When the landlord registers, does he get a receipt to say that he has said that you're back in your apartment?
You mean the landlord get the receipt from the immigration?
Yeah, not on a fine, but on reporting. Does he get a receipt?
Yes, she get the receipt for
So-
that.
so that-
Because, you like, for example, it's the first page, right? When you inform the immigration officer, you will get the bottom.
Right. And that receipt should really be given to the person who's renting so they can prove.
At least the landlord should give the copy of that.
Okay, so that proves you've got
Yes.
it. Okay. Now, say for example, you said the landlord is, you suspect that they have registered. Excuse me. And you come to your renewal visa, which is every year, and you've left the country or you've travelled 10 times, yeah, and then you go to immigration and they say, listen, you're supposed to be in Chiang Mai, and there's 10 times that hasn't been done, but you thought it was done.
Yes.
What happens? Is it 10 times the fine?
No, they will set the maximum of that. It will not count like, okay, you have done more for 10 times, you have to pay for 10 times fines. They will tell you the maximum of that and you pay for that one.
So what could happen is that foreigners just would not do the report and they wouldn't ask the landlord to do it and just pay one time a year when they're going to be renewing, yeah? And nobody would know until that point, and then he pays a one-time fine of 2,000 baht, which is the maximum.
I'm quite not exactly sure the maximum, but it should be more than 2,000 for that. But you pay for that maximum.
Right. All right. And then you can go for your visa. It's not like a black stamp saying, warning. Does it affect your validity? Once you've paid your fine, it's clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. With resident permit holders, do resident permit holders have to go through this process as well?
No, like if you like permanent,
Resident?
yes, residents, so you don't have to go for that because the one who have to report it is the one who stay here for temporarily. For temporarily, it means that you come here for work for a short period.
Short period could be two
2
weeks to
years.
1 year, whatever, yeah?
I mean,
Okay.
like temporarily, but if you want to stay here permanently, you have your name on the house legislation or you got your resident card, so you don't have to inform the immigration.
Now, if there's two ways your landlord can do this. They can go on the online once they've registered and they've got the
Yes.
password, which is it's a huge backlog now. It's not like 1 week, as they say, to get that password. It's taking a number of weeks to get that log on and password. Could the foreigner just do that on behalf of the landlord?
If you
Or is that bending the law?
yes, practically, like if you know the password, you can do that. But truly, if you want to do for your landlord, you can get the POA, power of attorney, to do for your landlord for that. They cannot do exactly by themselves. It's not same like the first time I told you about if your landlord forgot to pay if your landlord forgot to inform about your stay in Thailand, you can go to pay for the fine. But in this case, if you want to do all the matter by yourself, so you have to have POA for the landlord to inform to the
POA, power of attorney.
power of attorney.
Is that a complicated process?
It's not that complicated because it's just one POA. The landlord told that he allow you to do on behalf of.
And
of
that's
him.
legal, yeah?
Yes, that's legal. But you have to have all of the document to support that. But like you said, if it's registered already, it's okay. But if it's not, you have to have title deed, you have to have house legislation, or any identify document from your landlord to show that.
Okay,
like,
so they have to register with the immigration department that they've done this.
Yes.
After that, they can sign off a power of attorney
Yes.
to allow that the renter, yeah,
Yes.
to complete that themselves within 24 hours. And that is legally okay.
legally okay.
Okay, this makes it an awful lot easier. This is information I have not heard, yeah, from other areas. It's more of a fight whether we should be doing it at all. Yeah, but the reality, as you said, it's the law. And from what I've seen from some of the seminars, or I've read about the seminars, is that the common answer is, it's the law. Why should we have to do this? It's the law. Yeah, da. It's the law. Yeah. So, quite correctly, if it's the law, as you would be in your own country, it's just the law. We've just got to do it, right? So, but what we're finding out is within the law, yeah, we have ways to manage this extra reporting process. Yeah. Okay. So, if for example, the immigration is open from Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30.
Yes.
Yeah. In some cases, there's probably so many people going to do the registration, yeah, maybe they're not even dealt with in that 24-hour period. You can, I understand, send the document by registered mail,
yes.
Yeah. You don't need to go to immigration.
Yes, but you have to keep the receipt or the registered document to prove that you sent it on the day.
Or you'll get that report for
yes.
EMS or
yes.
recorded delivery
yes.
that you've sent this document on this date. Okay.
Yes.
If you're doing it by visit, and your visitors come on the Saturday, yeah, you can't do it in 24 hours.
But it's okay. The law said that, like, okay, if it's the weekend or it's the public holiday, you can do the day after that.
Right, so the first working day, yeah?
Yes, the first working day after that.
But you couldn't do it before.
It
Say, for example, your guests are coming
you
on Saturday.
Within 24 hours, how can you go before?
Well, my point is that, say, for example, you get somebody staying with you, they come and stay with you on a Saturday,
yes.
you're going away for a long weekend, yeah? Or they're staying for the long weekend or whatever it is you're doing something, that means you'd have to be there on Monday, yeah? Could you submit it on the Friday?
On the Friday?
Knowing these people are coming?
The law just said that, like, you can do the last day is the day after that, the working day after that. So I think the day before it could happen. Right.
And you just say they're there for 3 days from
yes.
this date to this date, yeah, and that's the report.
Yes.
Okay. All right. With regards to the law itself, if they wanted to change this, and there's pressure from different people, because I do know that it's been a shock to some people, even some businesses have talked about relocating because they can do the business from another country and using Thailand and having a representative office with a Thai heading up the office in Thailand, and they go to Vietnam and they run the business actually from Vietnam. So it could affect people because at the end of the day, the biggest asset of a company is their staff, yeah? The people that work there. Yeah? And if they're not happy and they feel that there's an extra pressure on them, yeah, which is not necessary, they're just going to look for something different. Yeah. So this is one of the dangers, I think, for this ruling. Also, I know a lot of people who would probably go away for the weekend. They're not bothering now. So basically, it's going to affect internal tourism from the foreigner. And they are the ones that are going to be staying in the Marriotts, the big hotels. Yeah? Whereas with a Thai family, many will go to a cheaper hotel.
Yes.
Right? So there's going to be a kick-on effect. Yeah. But that's just my personal opinion. But my question is, I've forgotten what my question was there. Yeah. The repealing. What would be the process if they wanted to change the rules? Now, in the past, they just didn't enforce it.
Yes.
If they wanted to go and change something within the Thai system or within the process, what would the Immigration Department have to do?
You mean change the Immigration Act about TM30?
I don't think anyone really cares about the change the Immigration Act. Yeah, I think they just would like to see they could change the process. Yeah. Or not have to do it at all. Like we haven't had to do it prior to March 25th. What would the immigration have to do? Could they change something internally without going through Parliament?
Yes, like they have changed form before. Like now they got online for you to do on that. Like, okay, it's not stated in the Immigration Act, but they try to make the foreigners more convenient for that.
Right.
So if as I understand, if they want to change for the convenience of the foreigner, they can change inside. Like, okay, can you tell us before you gonna come to Thailand, or maybe they can extend the periods of the deadline you file the TM30, or if they want to cancel. But for cancel, if they want to cancel the process, I think it have to fix the Immigration Act. But for now, the law said that you have to do following that, so you have to following that first.
Okay, but in the past we didn't follow it. It was ignored.
Yeah.
Or is this Thailand trying to strictly follow the law just now, and they're saying, listen, we have a law, we have to follow all the laws. I mean, I know in the UK we have common law. If we followed every single common law within the UK, people wouldn't be able to do anything. Yeah, but sometimes they will say, okay, we're not going to enforce that law.
Yes.
Could they do that again, or is that not the policy today?
I think they can do that, but like I said, in this period, maybe they want to enforce strongly on that law, so that's why it's happening for this time. If they think that, okay, if they reduce the level that they want to enforce this law, maybe it's better if they know exactly, like, okay, it may make more foreigners come to Thailand and if affect our economy, so I think they will do that. But they have a right to do that.
Absolutely.
It
it's a law of the land.
how they think about that.
So if they wanted to change the act, what would have to happen?
If they want to change the act, so they have to go to the parliament. They have to have the meeting with this parliament, and they have to research on that and what they want to change that law. So then the party in parliament, they have to vote on that. If if most of them agree, we got the new law. But
and then it has to be reported into the Royal Gazette. How long would that take?
Normally, it should be about a year. Like only the process in the parliament is about 6 months. But to research that, to draft the new act, it should happen more than 6 months, because like they will call many experts in this law area, in this legal area. They will come to research which is the problem, what is the best way to deal with. Maybe they invite some foreigners to tell about what is the problem, what is the issue, and they fix on that. And then they draft the act, so it should be about like more than 1 year for that. Okay,
that's quite understandable. So if for example we've got just now we have to report to Chiang Watana, yeah?
Yes.
Right. Are there any other locations you can report to? If you live in Sukhumvit 101 and have to go to Chiang Watana, you're talking about 1 day, yeah, there, and standing in a queue to go and do all this, yeah, and that's the landlord,
yes,
right, which they're not going to do. I saw that there was something about you could report to a police station, but they said if there is no immigration office, you go to a police station. But there is an immigration office in Bangkok, being Chiang Watana.
Yes.
So does that mean that a person who lives in Sukhumvit 101 or whatever it is, they have to go to Chiang Watana, or could they go to a police station locally?
Unfortunately, if the law said that, like, if there is immigration in your area who have responsibility on that, you got to go to that.
Right. So if you have an immigration department in your province,
yes,
you have to go there.
Yes.
Right. Oh
exactly.
My goodness.
If there is no any immigration, you go for the local police. Maybe easier.
Now, something I haven't seen reported. If I have a Burmese maid, a Lao maid, a Cambodian maid, a Vietnamese maid, a driver, or whatever, do they have to go through the same process, or is it only, let's say, outside Southeast Asia?
They say that, like, if they are foreigners, you have to inform anyway.
So if I have a maid that stays with me, yeah, in my house, and she goes home, yeah, and she comes back, yeah, we have to do the report for her, whether she's Burmese, Cambodian, Lao, whatever. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a very important point for many people, yeah? That it's not just for us as we're making this big noise as the Falang. Yeah, it is also your maid or driver or whatever it is who's overseas, and that means if they're renting accommodation somewhere and they're not living with you, they have that responsibility, which means that they could have their visa not renewed if they cannot show that. So keep this in mind. I think it's a very important point. Yeah. Okay, so what is your, we've gone through a few key elements. What is generally your advice to foreigners on this matter?
Like, on this matter, if you come to Thailand, you tell your landlord. If they're familiar with the foreigners to stay in their place, so it's okay, let them do that. If you stay in hotel, it's easier. The manager of the hotel can do that. So when you come to Thailand, you make sure that you ask your landlord that they will inform to the immigration within the deadline or not. Make sure with them. This is the first time that you have to think about when you come to Thailand and you stay in any place.
Okay, because in many places the renter, the landlord is maybe doing this off the books.
Yes.
They're not paying the tax. Yeah. In my case before, what we did is we actually paid the tax for the landlord, so they did declare it. Yeah. And we paid the tax. But the other issue is where we are hearing of some places who are just not accepting foreigners because they don't want the hassle. Now, we've given you a couple of solutions to this already in the program, which hopefully will mitigate these difficulties. Yeah? But, as you say, they have to report this. A couple of confusing messages, I think, is when we talk about the reason they did the immigration is doing this. One, they have to follow the law. Quite accept that. Yeah? But on the reason of terrorism, I think is rather poor, yeah, because I don't know any terrorist who would get a work permit, yeah, to come to Thailand and then bomb and then leave. They would be on a tourist. They would go to hotels. They would go to a friend's house with it, and it wouldn't be reported. They're there not to be seen. Yeah, I think it's more to do with the fact that many landlords are not paying tax. Yeah, and also there's a way of getting there's the fines, okay, to punish. Reality is that it's the foreigner is going to be paying these fines because otherwise the landlord will turn around and kick you out. Yeah, so to make sure there, and also to do with the people who are renting out their houses like Airbnb, which by the way is illegal in Thailand. Yeah, so I think that's some of the basic reasons. Yeah, but the idea when they turn around and see people living here in the longer term. Yeah. I think is just be perfectly honest. Yeah, it's to stop people. It's to get people to pay rent, to pay tax on their rent. Yes. Yeah, to stop Airbnb so it doesn't affect the big hotels. Yeah, I don't think it's to do with the terrorism issue, but I'm sure that's part of it as well. Yes. Yeah. So, okay. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I think I say it all.
All right. Well. That's our take on it. As you can see, that there's an awful lot of discussion going on, yeah, and basically we just felt it was easier to have somebody come in who's Thai, yeah, who can read the Thai statute in Thai, yeah, rather than other maybe foreigners who are having to translate it third party, yeah. Khun Poompong has been great to come along today. Hopefully we'll have him and some of his friends back again on other issues. And thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Okay. And please like, subscribe and share. All the information is down below. If you've got any suggestions for other spotlights or other issues, or if you get any comments, which I'm sure you have, yeah, please let me know. Thank you very much, and see you again soon.